Does life actually get better? How do you come back, get better from being lonely and extremely depressed? How do you create meaningful relationships when you are so screwed up?
I don't know if life gets better or you get better. I've struggled with depression for most of my life. The thing is that my mental toils grow stronger with every other struggle I have to deal with. Summers used to make me extremely happy. Well, content is maybe a better word because I could only be focused on work and making money. College was horrible because it took almost 6 years and the only thing I envisioned my diploma to be was a giant question mark instead of a marker of success. I was tired, angry and overwhelmed for those 6 years. I thought about killing myself a couple times because of all the strain. But I thought that if I killed myself, I wouldn't have known if I'd have finished school. But school was so difficult to complete. Your whole life you hear that a degree brings happiness and success. It doesn't, but school is done with. Do I have a career to show for it? A nice new car and a house? No. I have debt, but at the same time I'm carefree. So to answer your question, depression might not go away, but you will mature and things will get easier. But it's never truly gone.
You can't live a meaningful life in a day, but you can have a slightly better day at a time. Strive towards having a better day first. Start with one conversation, one relationship at a time. And give yourself time to grow and get results. Consistent effort is what it takes to be better.
I just want to say this: thank you everyone for your support and helpful responses. It opened my eyes to see real proof that I am not alone. Yeah, everyone always tells you that you are not alone, but seeing is believing, and now I truly believe I'm not alone and that there are people out there that I would want to connect with. I want you to all know that I will definitely read absolutely every single response. It may take a while and I apologize if I'm not able to respond to every one of you, because some of you really put your story out there and it means so much to me, and I'm sure it means a ton to a lot of other people who are struggling with this, to hear your story and experiences and to be able to get real advice on how to start getting better. I wish you all the best, and I am so grateful for all of your responses and kindness through this dark time.
I'll tell you about myself and you are free to draw your conclusions. I have major childhood trauma, verbal and emotionally abusive parents. Mainly father. Things went south even before I was born. Mum had anxiety when she was pregnant with me. Parents got divorced, money was sparse, health got shit. Got depressed, very anxious, and struggled like a pig. Then I started working. I saved money. And here's the most important thing you need to do, ***, I got a good therapist and worked on myself like crazy. It was exhausting and overwhelming, ***, I worked on myself, my relationships, my habits, my very personality. It is so important to get a good therapist. They may be expensive, this one was, but she was the best thing I've done for myself. And since then, the anxiety is down. My relationships are so much better. I am better. But all the trauma and shitshow of 25 years doesn't go away in 15 therapy sessions. But I'm much better equipped to deal with things now. We are still not rich, we still struggle. But we have finally arrested the decline. You will too. Feel free to DM me if you need anything.
Some days are better than others. I have good days and bad days and a lot of mixed day. It's a struggle, but like riding a bike, it takes time and you fall down. Finding friends in today's society can be really hard. That said, start in places where talking with others is encouraged. Creating meaningful relationships is a two-way street, but in general it's a lot of stumbling around getting to know each other and find your comfort zone.
I've been living with severe clinical depression. I could claim disability if I needed to, for almost 30 years now, 2 more, and I can celebrate my first clinical diagnosis. Therapy and medication. Sure, exercise and eating healthy help, but they don't help like people who were once sad and then went outside think they do. They can take you from a 2 to 2.5. They can't heal you. Therapy and medication is where you'll get your help. You need to learn how to think and also get the right meds to fix your brain chemistry. Medications are also not an exact science. Some may work in the short term, others may not seem to help at all until one day they do. Keep an open line of communication with your mental health provider, as they may need to adjust dosage.
I've been seeing the same therapist since I was 19. I'm now 36. My case will be different from yours, but I figure I should share that different stages of life will make you think about different things, and leave you wanting to reason out if you can handle the challenges life throws at you. I've never been extremely depressed, but I have had suicidal thoughts or at the very least felt like my life wasn't worth it. It's taken this long for me to realize that, even if I have those feelings, there's nothing stopping me from rejecting them and forging a path for myself with other things. To be fair, I still don't know if life actually gets better. In some ways I think it will, or in my case it has, but in some ways, it may not. I just want to get past my days well enough to see the following day through and find happiness where I can. Also, it took some time to get me on the right meds for me to stop overthinking about everything. My first meds made me drowsy all the time, but then we just made adjustments. So, from once a week sessions 17 years ago, I basically visit my therapist now every 2 or 3 months for life coaching or as needed if there's some major stressor and ask for advice to help me broaden my worldview. That said, if you ever feel the need to talk or want someone to rant to, I can always offer some kind words. Cheers! _carrot.
Go to therapy, counseling. The other suggestions are great, but I don't think these people understand what it's like to go through depression. You don't merely snap out of it by doing the things they suggested. Find a good therapist, and if you cannot afford one, look for support groups of others who are also experiencing depression and talk about your struggles with them. Mental health counseling, along with the things the others have mentioned, will go a long way.
Relationships happen because you have a life to share. So don't go looking for it. Build a life for yourself first. Self-improvement. Exercise, nutrition. Get a plant or pet and bond with it so you have some form of responsibility and a reason to become more disciplined. Once you've sorted out the basics, find what would make you happy or proud of yourself and actively chase down that dream. Sometimes it helps to remember that you could put yourself in an absolute hell if you left things deteriorate. So spend a bit of time contemplating how easily things could get way worse if you did nothing. Just don't ever forget, you have something to contribute to life, even if others cannot or do not appreciate what you are doing. Every small step helps. Give it time. As a last piece of advice, do a year of yes. If someone asks you to do something and you cannot immediately think of a proper argument to say no, say yes and go do it.
To quote a great fictional man, sometimes life is like this tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you keep moving, you will come to a better place. A month ago I didn't think anything was worth it anymore. I remembered this quote and kept moving forward. It took time, a long time, but I'm finally leaving the job I hate for a job that I'm actually excited about. Change won't happen overnight, but you have to keep showing up the next day to make progress. Don't be afraid of change and you'll be fine.
First thing you have to do, and I mean the very first thing, is learn to like who you are. Only you can decide what you like about you and why you like who you are as a person. That'll need to come before anything else. I don't know you or your situation, so I can only share how I got there, because I used to be like that. I started faking confidence. I started finding things about me that I liked, which was difficult, but I got there. I like that I have blue eyes, even if one of them is lazy and looks at my nose. I like that I can grow a full beard. I like that I'm tall, and I like that I have nice manners. Over time, that faked confidence became more and more real, and I started to genuinely like things about myself. It makes you peaceful as a person and really helps your motivation to do other things. If you want to do what I did, just start with one thing every day. Get up, look at yourself in the mirror and decide on one thing you like about yourself. Say it out loud. It sounds silly, but do it. Say it out loud to yourself in the mirror, then get on with your day. Once you start to like yourself, people will start to see that, and believe me when I say people love that. People gravitate to people that are happy in themselves and can share that happiness. I won't lie, it does take time, and how long depends entirely on you. But in the meantime, do try and remember this. You are not alone. It's okay to talk about feeling depressed or anxious. It's okay to not be okay. I really hope things do start to look up for you.
This is a bitch of a question to answer, and I really wish there was a simple solution, but the reality is that everyone's mental issues are subtly different.
Mental illness don't group as nicely as physical illness. My wife and her sister both suffer from generalized anxiety disorder, but one has a bit more OCD rolled in and the other has a bit more depression. What works for one person's depression might not work for you depression. Main things you need to know and keep telling yourself. It is not your fault, it is not a weakness in your personality, you are not screwed up. You have a medical condition that negatively affects your brain. It is simply that we do not understand enough about how the brain works to be able to say exactly what is wrong. It will go and it will come back, but you can change this pattern. You can make improvements.
It's been said before on here, but it's always worth finding someone awesome in your life and sticking with them. Doesn't have to be a partner or family member. It can be a dog or a Twitch chat community. Find somewhere you belong and fit in, whether it's with one person or many.
You find yourself someone or something that makes you happy. I can be a partner or a simple pet. Maybe a leopard gecko or a cat. Everything that lives longer than 10 years might not be that bad. Find someone to talk to or hang out. She doesn't need to be a relationship, just someone who is open and can listen to you and that you trust. For me, that would be my gaming buddies I met while playing Laughing Face. But if you are alone and very shy, I recommend maybe a pet. Leopard geckos are cheap and low maintenance. Of course there are a lot others, but a pet that you can take in your hand, pet and talk to works wonders and will build confidence. Important is that you aren't alone. For me at least, loneliness is the worst thing because my depression starts really kicking through then. Maybe this helped. Maybe not. It's just what I did and it helps a lot. Laughing Face.
I'm late, so this will probably get buried. In 2008 I lost my job. All I could get right away was McDonald's, so I took it, but it wasn't enough to pay all my bills. My car was repossessed, I got kicked out of my apartment, and I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me, all within the space of a month or so. It was the lowest period of my life. I struggled with depression, considered suicide. It just wasn't a good time. I was homeless, but I had good friends who gave me a place to stay, so I was never actually on the streets. It took a while, but today I have a good job. I apprenticed in the tool and die trade and I make good money for a guy who barely graduated high school and never went to college. I'm married, and my home life is stable. It's not perfect, life never is, but I'm far better than I was. I hope everyone in this thread who is struggling is able to find a way to better days as well. Obligatory edit. Wow, this blew up. By far my most upvoted comment, as well as gold and silver. I'm glad so many people found this inspiring.
Consider subscribing.